Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of our 7th Sea campaign, The Dead Man Tales. I am your host, the Ravnos Archon. My name is Will, and before we jump into it and meet our cast, a little bit of world building for those of you that aren't familiar with 7th Sea. The world of 7th Sea is called Thea. It is a continent with similarities to our own 17th century Europe, with some stark differences. This land is ruled over by a collection of nation-states, which bear some historical and cultural cornerstones that will make things easier to stomach, a little less jarring, as it were. Though this isn't a twin of our own Earth's Europe, this is more akin to a cousin. There are touches of fantasy that permeate Thea, that don't even graze our world. In our story, there will be sorcery and monsters. There will be tests of faith and corruption, and the discovery of what was before. Because there was something before all of this. There was something before the Vatican Church, which represents the principal religion of the world, kind of shifted over from the cradle of civilization in Vodachi to where it is now in Castille. There was something before the secret societies and the pirate nations that kind of slither in and out of the shadowy, clandestine corners of every city or town. There was something long before Thea was even Thea. But we will uncover the lost Sirneth soon enough. You see, ours is a story of intrigue. Ours is a story of heroic adventures. Ours is a story of booty. And I do mean treasure chests full of doubloons and gems and gilded artifacts, but the other booty is nice too. But as I welcome you to 7th Sea, our story starts with 8 messengers, one sent out to each of the nations of Thea. Snow-covered trails have slowed all manner of travel through the lands. Winter can be brutal, depending on where you might be. Some countries have it worse off than others. And some countries are better equipped for the harsh weather. On the side of the cooler than temperate is Castille. The days are cool. The nights require some bundling, depending on how far north you go, but there's hardly any snowfall along its southern coast. It is the year 1664. Whispers have begun to slither through the countryside. The good king Salvador Aldana has passed on, leaving his young son the only heir to the throne, an heir that cannot rule a country, and that has not been given his due title of El Concilio de la Razón by the Council of Cardinals, the body who advises the king. They've withheld the title of Rex Castilium, the King of Castiles, until the boy reaches his adult age. This has put even more strain on the struggling caste system, one that has been struggling since the Vatican Church moved the seat of power to the country of Castile and incited an entire war for 3 decades. The boy is protected. He has his loyal musketeers at his side day and night, but the threats are many and the musketeers are few. One lieutenant has reached out to associates of hers, Cristina de la Bahia de Andalucía La Quinta. She is a fearsome drinker and a cunning duelist, but she's also bound to her duties and her trust of one Malcolm Yon Rutherford of Avalon. He has brought rumors of a supposed gathering of assassins in her hometown of Aldana. Tensions have begun to escalate for their 2 nations, and this would strain any talks of allegiance with the newly crowned queen of the Glamour Isles. He has called in favors far and wide to gather a group he can trust to carry out the will of the 2 crowns, to protect the child from the darkness encroaching on him because of his station, to possibly prevent another war so soon after having suffered from the War of the Crown, of the Cross. We open on a city on a bay. Winter has settled in just shy of its allotted time, An eager handful of snow dusts the roofs and railings of the houses, but there are colder things than a sword's steel loose in the streets of Castille. The stage has been set for a drama ripe with love, loss, and betrayal. A story that could bring Shakespeare up from his grave just so that he may weep at the tragedy about to unfold. But if there's one thing to learn about this story, it is that these are just not regular dead men tales. And now we introduce our cast of characters. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So good to see everybody. Some faces are familiar to the channel, some are brand new, and that is exciting. Let's introduce everyone and their characters, and let's play Two Truths and a Lie with these introductions. We'll start with Katie, and then we'll go counterclockwise into Junie, and we'll end with Rurik.
Two Truths and a Lie.
Yeah. Well, who are you and who are you playing?
I'm Katie. And I'm playing Azalis. And I would say Two Truths and a Lie. All right, so I am an avid shooter. I am in love with Thea. And I have very little memory of my parents.
Great. Junie, how about you?
I am Junie Radesh, and I am playing May. Two Truths and a Lie. Her name is May. She is from, trying to remember, Eisen, right?
Eisen.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And she's just having a merry time with her current state of living.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
Is that the lie?
And Rurik.
Hey guys, so I'm Rurik, and I am playing Ángel Aranda del Cuervo. Ángel is a Castilian soldier. He is fiercely loyal to the crown, and that has very much to do with his bloodlines.
Okay. A little bit of homework that was given to you before all of this was, how do you know Malcolm Ian Rutherford? We know that he has been called in by this other lieutenant, but how do you personally know Malcolm? And we'll start in reverse order. So how does Angel know Malcolm?
So many years ago, Malcolm came to El Salto because he had found a Bronze Age village in our mountains, and he was exploring and excavating them. And my father assigned me to be his guard and his guide during his time in our lands. Since that time, we have corresponded very much because Angel has a very strong interest in history.
Okay. Junie, how does May know Malcolm?
Well, he procures herbs and special things that she needs. And when he's not feeling his best, for whatever reason happens, well, he comes to her for a little pep and perk up.
Okay. Not double entendre at all.
Nope.
And how does Azolas know Malcolm?
Malcolm is a liar, and he is a spy. And I met him once in the swamplands near my home, the Commonwealth. And he nearly died, and he fell in like the very shallow water, which was ridiculous. But I helped him, and sort of showed him the ways a little bit, and we grew close and became friends. And then one day, about a year later, after we had grown close, this person came that was a messenger from the Queen. And I don't like the Queen. I don't like any of this foolishness of ruling each other. And so I became very enraged that he had lied to me for all of this time. And I told him that I hope to never see him again, and he is not welcome anywhere near my marshes.
Perfect. So it's going to be a very interesting reaction when all of you receive letters from Malcolm asking for your aid. There is a small town off the coast of Castille that is currently touched by snow. And looking at this marvelous art in the book, I think I'm going to go with just northwest of San Agustin, especially because it's very easy to remember because I live in Florida. But
It's
northwest,
it's not far from us.
not far at all. Northwest of San Agustin, there's a small town. It is a provincial kind of offshoot from Aldana. And right now, it is the current location of where Malcolm has asked you all to meet. Passage has been booked for you. It has been paid in full. And should you choose to go, your passage has been paid for. It is not a far trip for Angel. It is a little bit of a trek for May. But given your relationship with him in the past, what does Azuolas do with the invitation and the passage?
I'm very conflicted because I don't ever want to see Malcolm again.
Right.
But I am curious as to why he would pay for my passage. And so I'm tempted to go, but I also am hesitant.
Okay. The passage would pull you from the Commonwealth. Right now, you are far the east from Castille. You would have to travel through Odache. You would have to go in, probably, if you want to go by land, you could go through Vodache and then go around into Castille. Well, you could go by boat too. You could go circumvent Vodache entirely and just head straight into Castille by sea. You've been on land for a while. A boat trip might be a good way to see the world. Does this hook them enough?
Yes, I would say so. Sure.
Okay. So, the trip is wild. How do they react to ocean travel? As somebody that, like for me personally, I've only been on a boat a few times, and every time I've had to use Dramamine. So for someone like them, how is the acclimation of, the back and forth, the monotonous rocking that comes with sea travel?
Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty big challenge. I'm very familiar with the earth and convening with the earth and the beings and the spirits, and so I think being separate from that would be quite difficult. And I'd say for at least the first few days of the voyage, there's probably a lot of vomiting, a lot of not feeling great, just kind of woozy and
do you regret coming on this voyage?
Yeah, for the first couple days I'd say for sure, absolutely. I think maybe the first time that I have a spark of like, oh, maybe it's worth it is there's a sunset that I'm able to catch that is just miraculous. And there are some dolphins, or I don't know what they are, but there's some beings that are jumping up out of the water and splashing and moving very fast, and they're shiny, like, sparkly, almost shiny from the water, and slick looking, and they're pretty majestic and magical. And I'd say that that's the first time that I'm really like, wow, all right, maybe it was worth it.
Okay. We'll use dolphins. We are not so far removed from Earth that we can't use animals as a basis. So dolphins work, especially like if it's something like a humpback whale that just kind of crests, or like an orca or two, like a pod maybe.
Yeah, miraculous.
Yeah, yeah. What is your instinct coming into a new land? You've never left the Commonwealth. So what are the first things that you think they notice about Castille?
Well, it's much more built than what I am used to, because where I live is much more, I'd say, rural, more, trees and swamps and grass and moss. And I see lots of like shiny kind of buildings and people moving all around. It's very busy, and I'm used to more kind of quiet and slow. So I'd say that's the first thing I notice.
Okay. The scent of sweetbread is rolling through the docks. There's a mixture of the kind of salty ocean air that mixes with ale, hints of vomit from all the people who are either not used to travel or have not acclimated yet and got their sea legs. But there's definitely that kind of scent of the sweetbreads, the sweet fruits that I don't think have grown out in the Commonwealth. There's colors here that you've only ever heard about, and now seeing them up close and personal, you can see vendors with bags hanging off of just these wooden banner crosses that they're walking around with. There's a lot to take in, and given the Castellan kind of lean that Castile has, how does the music affect them?
Unlike anything I've ever really experienced, I'm used to the music of the trees and the music of the birds. So this is a whole different thing. I actually don't even, like, I wouldn't consider it music at this point, at least. It sounds like sounds, and it's crashing, and it's kind of overwhelming, honestly. I'd say I don't really enjoy it.
Okay. We now have a point of contention when we meet Angel. But as we find Azuola's kind of coming into this whole stranger in a strange land vibe, this noisy new environment, we're going to shift over to a very different place of the world. Much darker, much grayer, much more grim in its palette. What do we find May when she gets her message, Junie?
What help if I unmute things? Yeah, good pro streamer.
Streamer.
Yeah, totally pro. You would see her back at the home, coming back from another hunt, putting away her things, washing her clothes, making sure that she has everything out to know what she has to put together for the next run. Making sure that the home is still taken care of, the lands are still being taken care of. Finding herself once in a while walking through the cemetery with her mother's book, with the prayer beads, just losing herself for a bit.
Is this a hunt of necessity, or was this a hunt that required more from you?
Required the abilities that she knows very well.
So
It
this
wasn't one.
this is not for like food or resources. This was an Udum Jaeger hunt.
This was a hunt that she was required to go on.
Okay.
Paying debts, making sure she gets favors.
Was this for something local, or was this for the sisterhood?
It was a debt to be paid for the sisterhood to help out Borderlands.
Okay.
Get them clear, freeing up a trade route or something. To that regard.
Was this a solo hunt, or were you with someone else?
She was with a group, with a party.
Okay.
She wasn't going solo on this.
So this wasn't like a goblin or a handful of skeletons that had reanimated. This was something bigger?
Medium. So it was more of like getting rid of a nest and making sure that nothing decided to come back and take it over.
Okay. Any new scars?
Her hair got grayer. Ever since she learned how to do things, her hair gets more and more gray compared to what it used to be.
Okay. So you come home to find a letter. You don't know how many days it's been there. You've been out hunting. Might have arrived yesterday, might have arrived this morning. It might have been here for a week more. But it is from Malcolm. And he regrets not being able to be in Ison with you, but that your skills could be used in Castille. And given that he would know the objections you would have to it, he's already included passage for you to be used at your leisure to get down to the village where he is currently staying. Is there secret talk between you and Malcolm? Do you use phrases and double talk?
For the ingredients. No one wants to know what I am, and that's fine. I don't want to tell anyone.
Yep.
It's only by needs and association. I keep him alive. He gives me the things that I need.
The cipher you have used with him in the past is being used in the letter.
Hmm.
He warns of danger, of something nefarious, and a child's life at the center of it all.
Okay.
What is May going to take with her?
I think the better question is what May isn't going to take with her.
Okay.
Oh no, this letter says come prepared. Not just a romp in the forest. This is big. Bring everything. If she could fold up the kitchen sink, she would.
Okay. So like
She doesn't,
steamer's
instead.
trunks of all your stuff.
Oh no, it's more a backpack and her own home sewn duffel bag.
Okay.
We're traveling light, but we're not showing how much we're carrying.
Okay.
And utility belts, because those things are useful.
Batman has one.
I don't know who that is.
Touche.
Boop.
So we see May traveling from a heavily snowed in area. Ison to Castille is an easy trek through land. Would you rather go through land, or would you rather take a river boat?
Mm. I miss being able to pick some ingredients myself. I think she would stick with land, but be close to the river if needed.
Okay. Not hard to do.
Don't go through the forest, kid. It's bad.
Everyone knows.
I hope so.
What would you say that May has been to Castile before? Has she been outside of Ison at all?
No. Not south, north.
Okay.
She's been north to her other aunts. But never south. She's heard of stories, but never been down.
How jarring would it be for her to see all this greenery stretched out before her?
I think I'll quote Ray in this saying, I've never seen a place that could be so green.
For all intents and purposes, Castile has never had to deal with the monstrosities of Ison. There's no Draconison veins down here. There's nothing to call to the darker denizens of the world.
Which would be a relief for once.
For once. Coming into the city, you smell the sweetbreads. You smell the smoked meats. You smell the mixture of ales and whiskey, wines, a little touch of sea air as it kind of snakes its way through the valley, up towards the mountains where you've come from. And it gets stronger as you get closer to the port, obviously. But there's a liveliness here that you don't see in Ison. There are farms that barely have a fence to them. There are no trenches to catch the wandering monsters that permeate life in Ison. How does that make you feel?
Envious. Making it wish that this was home. Making that what we've gone through, singularly showing how strong we are, but what we have forgotten or given up. Something I wish that certain people could have seen before they perished.
That pang of loss kind of thrums through you. We're going to switch over to somebody that has grown up in this land, that has known greenery his entire life. Until recently, the War of the Cross took a toll on Castile. took a toll on Montaigne. But your lands were part of the parcel, the deal that was struck to end the war. They're no longer bordered on the Castille side. Your lands are now Montaigne, given to somebody else, some Montaigne lord. Their son probably sits on the bed that you grew up in. Where do we find Angel when the letter arrives?
So the reality is it probably took a while for the letter to get to him because Angel is working as a mercenary, as a bodyguard, whatever work finds him. He's staying throughout northern Castile, so he actually might not be too far from San Agustin when the letter arrives.
Why not?
Uh, to him, these mountains, northern Castile, is the frozen north of his lands. So that's very different from what everyone else is seeing. For him, this is like, oh, it's so cold. I have to get my second coat out. I have a hat pulled over.
Always get a hat.
Always get a hat. So he receives his letter from his friend, and in reality, he's expecting this to be like most of his correspondence. You know, that sharing stories of new things that have been found. Whereas he would share, you know, whatever war stories or tales of the road he has. So to see that his friend is asking for a favor and asking for him to trek halfway across the country puts Angel on alert.
Okay.
The first thing he does is he goes and he speaks to his current employer and he tells him, I must end my contract. I have been called away. He takes his pay. And since he's traveling through brigand-filled roads, he actually puts on, you know, his breastplate, and he has on his horse's saddle his rodelo shield and his actual arming sword.
Mm. Are you openly wearing your duelist badge?
Yes, because it is the way of things. But it'd be a foolish duelist who would challenge someone wearing a breastplate.
Okay. Okay.
Most of the important bits are covered.
Correct.
So Angel is actually going to directly ride to San Agustin, you know, because there's no.
Yep.
It's right there.
You are fortunate that even with the time it takes for the letter to find you, everyone arrives at St. Augustine around the same time, maybe within a day or two of each other.
Okay.
Is San Agustin a place that Angel has been to? Does he know the streets?
He has probably visited
Does he have any contacts here?
after the war. Let's say that he knows a sellsword here that he worked for
Okay.
after the war. Guillermo.
Okay.
He's a broker, a sellsword broker.
Do you go to him to announce yourself in the city?
Actually, yeah. Since I'm gonna assume that I'm like a little bit early for the meeting, so the first thing I'll do is I'll go see Guillermo.
Okay. His office is shabby. It is a single room in the back of a much bigger office for a collection of different people trying to make a living at different jobs. It is just an amalgam of professionals that are trying to save as much money as possible who are not big or known. Guillermo is on his way up. He's one of the better people um, in this little grupito of, for lack of a better word, just like aspiring, um, influencers.
Okay.
Um, but when he sees you come in, he immediately stops what he's doing. He gets up and he just kind of lays out his arm. Angel, it's been some time, my friend.
Yeah. The work dried up in this part of Castile. I've been traveling in the north.
You
I
should.
was uh, I was called back here, and first thing I wanted to do is talk to my old compadre to see if there was anything interesting in town.
You should have sent word. I would have had something waiting for you.
Ah, right now, I'm not ready for a contract. I won't know until tomorrow, if time is allowed.
Oh, okay, okay. I understand. I understand. Uh, are you here then for business? Should I be
I'm here.
worried?
I'm here meeting an old friend. Specifically, what he needs, that will be found out when the wine comes out.
As all good tales should begin. The family, are they well, Angel?
Uh, Papa y Mama has not left the capital in some time. They are still trying to get the Council of Cardinals to do something useful for the lands that were lost to Montaigne.
If only they could be useful, those. Let me not say anything about them. And you see, he crosses himself.
When a man of the cloth is more interested in money and power,
From your lips to the prophet's ears, my friend. You come in a bad time, though. I hate to break it to you. The city has been. I don't want to say, you know, terrorized, because that would be jumping a tremendo tiburón, I think.
okay.
But did you know that recently this woman from Eisen had retired here and she was found dead in her room?
Mm. A dead woman in the streets of San Agustin is not
A,
that
re-
uncommon.
a retired dignitary from a different country is not common.
Well, that is an entirely different creature.
That's what I said. No one is investigating it either. They're just very content to just sweep it under the rug.
It sounds like the work of the people who are not taking care of what San Agustin needs, especially so close to the border of Eisen.
It's so close.
Have you heard anything? Any threats?
You have you not been sleeping in the cities, my friend? Every street is a threat. The boy king, I think, is the main issue. Everyone wants a
Boy,
piece of that pie.
he may be a young king, but he is king, and he has the possibility to be a good king if people would allow him.
You know. I hope you are correct.
Angel laughs and he says, "So do I."
If anyone knows what Castile needs, and it would be you. I think you and your family have been put through a lot, my friend. Um, I don't know if we need a good king. We just need a just king.
The nobility needs to remember that to be noble means to serve.
This is true. And you guys shoot the shit for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone kind of lingers about the town. Lodgings are also part of the letter that was sent to you. The accommodations have been made. You each have what is the equivalent of about a week's worth of a stay somewhere. But you are meeting in a tavern called the Roasted Pig. It's a quaint little spot. 2-story building. The first floor, massively empty except for the arches that have been built into the kind of support columns. There are a couple of round tables that are peppered around the room. A couple of stools and chairs set at them. There is a large communal table with 2 benches, one on either side of it, that looks to be about 12 feet long. And it's sitting in front of what is a not dead, but definitely not roaring hearth. Big old fireplace that looks to easily be about a man's kind of arms outstretched, almost like a 6-foot wide at its widest. There's a bar that maybe seats about 10 people. It's small. There's these large asks. One that is branded with wine, one that is branded with the word whiskey, one that is branded with the word rum, and then there's smaller asks, about half sizes, that all have different names kind of branded onto the lids of it, which you imagine must be some kind of ales or lagers or even what's it called? Ciders. Older gentleman behind the bar. To one side of the bar, you can see a doorway, kind of one of those Wild West double doors. There's a kitchen visible beyond. You can smell the typical smells of a breakfast, a kind of scrambled egg or sizzling bacon, some kind of cooked ham. But you can also smell the kind of toasting of breads. To the other side of the bar, you see a wide spiraling staircase, like a corkscrew staircase that leads up to the second floor, where you would imagine some of the other rooms are the more private areas for meeting are situated. And going up to the bar, the older gentleman definitely has that kind of weathered Castilian tanned look. It's on the border of looking almost leathery. How much time he must spend out in the sun. Crow's feet along the edges of the eyes. He's got these deep kind of chocolate brown eyes. This wild cluster of graying hair that is tied back for the most part in a loose kind of ponytail that just explodes outward like a firework of gray, black, and white hair. And as you come in, he kind of looks up, nods at each of you. What is Azuola's going to say? How do you want to find Malcolm? Are you looking for Malcolm?
No. I'm not looking for Malcolm. I have no desire to see him.
Perfect.
I am, this is a free trip, and I'm excited to make the most of it. It's a wonderful adventure that I was able to be here. Honestly, initially, what I'm going to do is if I realize that the smells that I'm smelling and the sights of this so-called food are formerly living beings,
Mhm.
I'm going to do a blessing to all of those beings that they may be at peace and to thank them for their energetic contribution to our experience here. And I would probably be sitting somberly doing that for a bit.
Okay. He would come over once he sees you kind of doing that. And you see he does have like a little notepad, a quill, and he comes over very professionally in the beginning. He's just like, hey, I don't mean to bother you when whatever you're doing, but would you like something to eat, something to drink, perhaps? Are you of the cloth? Are you praying for somebody in particular? The church is not too far down the street. I could show you.
I would not call what I am doing praying, and I am not of the cloth, but thank you for your interest.
Of course.
I'm all right for now. I don't desire any sort of food or drink. Maybe some water. Do you have that?
I have trough out the back. Yes, I could get some water from there.
Fine.
Okay. You know that this is a bar, yes? Like we have alcohol to sell.
I see.
Just making sure that you are in the right place. I don't want you to be confused.
This is my first time in these lands. So thank you. I am a bit confused, to be honest. I am unfamiliar with this type of establishment.
He sits down across from you. Okay, so how can I help you be less confused? Have you never been inside a bar before?
No, I don't think I have.
No. How old are you? You look like an adult who has definitely taken back some liquor. Have you killed a
Well,
man before?
have I killed a man before? Is that what you asked me?
Yes. You're in Castille. It's okay. Nobody here. People die all the time.
I see. What would you recommend to drink?
Well, if you haven't killed a man before, I definitely would recommend you don't go into the rum or the whiskey. That is for people who are trying to erase the mistakes of their past.
Uh,
If you're looking to kill, a wine is always good to think about, premeditated events like stabbing somebody or hacking them to pieces or drowning them. Otherwise, an ale or a lager, whatever you like. The darker, the more bitter they are. You know. We also have cider if you are someone who wants to start to taste alcohol but doesn't want to be like overwhelmed by the taste of alcohol, because it does take it takes a couple of years to get used to.
Well, I'm quite used to roots and bitterness, so I think a dark ale sounds delightful.
Perfect. I will get you that and a little cup of water too, just in case.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. And he gets up with a big smile. And he goes over to one of the smaller casks and pours you a darker looking liquid. And he goes out back. And by the time he comes back out with the wooden mug of water, you see a second person has entered the establishment. Angel or May, which one of you would like to come in next?
Ladies first.
Oh, you sure you don't want to be, be the local?
Sure, I'll be the local.
Go be the local. I'll be the dark mysterious one that comes in last. This is fine.
So Angel has, for sure, at this point, changed out of his soldier's armor and everything. He is, he's very much BBC's The Musketeers Aramis,
Like it.
like long leather duster, a pistol in his belt, um, just Santiago Cabrera. Very, he does well. And so rapier, dagger. He walks in. He whistles for the bartender. Hey, mi socio! Arroz con huevo, chorizo, and an ale, please.
Oh, okay. Coming right up. What does
Thank you.
Azuolas look like?
Azuolis is stocky and about 5'10". Has hair that is very similar length to what mine is currently, maybe a little bit shorter, and very like wild. Lots of it's untamed.
Love it.
And is sitting at this bar a little bit, confused and sort of looking around and maybe poking at some things and about to sip this brown liquid before them.
Has Katie ever had a stout beer before?
A stout beer, yes.
Okay, so the same kind of scent that a stout would give off is what this gives off. So you
Okay.
got that kind of earthy, kind of almost caramel, very kind of vanilla and nutmeg scent. And then as you smell it, you see a plate is brought out to the gentleman that whistled to the bartender, and you can now smell the eggs, the kind of the pork, and the kind of sense of the sweet meat that has been cooked over a fire or smoked. And he pours a lighter looking
You're getting
liquid. Man, I done been hungry.
hungry.
But he just slams down the cup. He's like, "Where are you from, stranger? You don't particularly have the accent for Agustin, but you are definitely kinsman."
Oh, I come from Torres. I have traveled for some time to get here.
Oh, it's a shame what happened to Doris.
It is a shame what happened to all of Castile.
Yes, this is a truth.
And I tip him like double what he would normally be tipped because it is early and he's being good.
Yeah, and he kind of looks at you. He's like, "What brings you to Agustin? This is not generally a visiting town, especially this time of year."
I come looking for a friend. He told me to meet him here, and the more I look around, the less I see him.
He
Have
leans
you
in.
seen it? Have you seen an Avalonian?
He leans in and he's just like, "Listen, there's only been one Avalonian around here, and the sooner he leaves, the happier I will be."
That definitely sounds like him. He is what we call a particular man.
But you can call him whatever you want. He is. I will use the word needy. He needs more pillows. He needs more blankets. He needs so much.
Has he come down yet today?
He is not. Another thing he needs is more sleep. And stays up to all manner of hour in the evening, walking around, making noise.
At least he does not complain about the music.
You can complain about the music.
So I decide that I am going to eat my breakfast before I go upstairs and wake him because it's rude to be late.
It is. And on the cusp of being late, what does May look like as she walks into this establishment?
She's wearing her travel gear right now. So brown shirt, travel trousers, boots, widow's veil. Comes in, she is wearing bringing her backpack in, as well as she may have a small utility belt hidden underneath her cloak. She'll look around to see if her friend is here, and seeing that he's not, she'll probably go up to the bar.
The bartender sees you approach, nods to the gentleman that he's serving, and then sidles over to you. Senorita, how may I be of service to you? Breakfast?
Guten Tag.
Oh,
what-
you.
Yeah?
Okay. No, please continue. I wasn't expecting an Eisen this morning.
I'm sorry, are we not welcome here?
No, of course coin is coin, senorita. I don't care where it comes from.
I believe the term you are looking for is, how do you say, senora, not senorita.
Oh, please. Until I see a husband, I will always refer to a woman by senorita.
Sadly enough, he's 6 feet under.
Oh, so there is a chance. And he smiles.
If you wish to think that. Is a Herr Malcolm awake? Or do you know of this man?
It's amusing. I was just speaking to my cousin here about the very man you're looking for.
Oh,
How much of a nuisance he has become to me.
nuisance? What you mean?
He has needs that outweigh a typical person.
More needs than a normal man would have?
Oh no, he has, but how many pillows can a man have, really? Like, I have 2. And he has asked for 6 at least.
Where is he? Is he upstairs?
Currently, yes. Still in his
Would you
room.
do? Which room is it? Do you know?
Would you like me to get him for you?
Oh no, I can do this. You just tell me where he is, and I would love if you could give me a breakfast. I would very much appreciate it. Whiskey and ale as well.
So
Both.
No, I would like both. Yeah,
Oh,
please, bitte. Whatever. What kind of breakfast do you have going on right now?
we have eggs and bacon and ham. With a
Ooh.
little bit of chorizo on the side if it's still, available.
Was is chorizo? I'm not aware of this.
You'll like it. I think you'll like it. I'll put some on the side for you.
If I could get the plate like that, I will go upstairs and wake him if you don't mind. I like my business to be on time. And he can be a bit of a, ik kan wacht frutost. Or what many would call a, what's the translation for dumkov? Oh yeah, dumbhead.
I can attest to that. Sure, yes. So breakfast, a whiskey and ale coming right up.
Yeah, danke. I'll go up and wake him.
Yep. Room 4 is where he is.
Dankeschön.
is this all audible from where Angel is sitting?
Yeah, you're like 3 seats down.
So she says that she's going to go wake him, and I'm like, ugh, what trouble has he gotten himself into that a black woman is coming to save to wake him? And so Angel will not stealthily, but several steps behind her, just like walk like where she's walking.
Okay.
Would she be able to perceive this?
You know what? What is May's notice? 2?
2.
Yeah. You're a
She'll
hunter.
pause. She'll pause before she gets to the door and turn around and go, do you want to help me? Is this what you follow?
Senora, I am
Huh?
uncertain still if I am going to be helping you or helping Malcolm. It all depends on what your intentions are with my friend.
Well, he's my friend too, and I have business with him. If you are upset about me waking him, do you wish to wake him yourself? I would like to have my business and eat, but if he cannot be punctual, well, he has nothing to worry about.
As a matter of fact, as a matter of fact, I would very much like to see you wake him. And Angel leans against the wall.
Very well. He's like a child at times. She will wake him up like a child. And she walks right to the thing and pounds on the door like a mother would, and then tries to turn the door to see if he locked it or not.
Not even. The second that you bring fist to door, it flies open.
Oh my God, Michael, get up! Meint ihr, Frau das ihr nicht an sein vierter Tag? Schnell, schnell, schnell!
And you just see him face down, sleeping on the bed.
She looks for any water, any liquid.
Angel is a very helpful person, and so he hands her his water skin.
Oh, I thought what the vase your water.
Well, it's water.
Okay, okay. Okay. And she'll take it and she'll come on, wake up, sleepyhead. Time to wake up in the Apple Valley, yeah? Come on.
The second you pour water over his head, you see the darkening of the kind of cloth on the bed, and it starts to become purplish. And then much more red.
She'll turn the body over.
He is dead.
She'll take his pulse, make sure.
He is dead. There is a knife jammed into his chest, that looks very similar to the one on Angel's waist.
Angel immediately, it is all fun and games until someone wakes up stabbed.
I wouldn't know. I deal with other things that are darker.
Azuolas did see them talking about Malcolm and going upstairs, if you want to follow along.
I have no desire to see Malcolm, so if anything, I would have yelled something to them as they're leaving along the lines of, "Don't bring him here."
She's like, he's paying for my breakfast. He can be over there.
Yeah.
They are not interested in whatever foolishness he has going on.
There is a turned over desk. There is a ton of paperwork that has been stepped on and trampled. He looks like he put up a fight. There are defensive wounds along the kind of back of the hand, the arms, the forearms. There's bruising around the eye. They're starting to set in. It's no longer yellow, like it's actually become purple now. So this must have happened sometime last night. The water basin that would normally be there is turned over. His steamer trunk is been flipped onto its side, and you can see that parts of the sides of the insides have been cut up, like someone was looking for a secret compartment, but there's none to be found.
She opens up his mouth to check and see if he's got a tongue.
He does.
So Angel sees that she has no issues with a dead body.
Yeah.
Which both makes him curious and makes him go search somewhere else.
Okay.
Do I know anything that he might have told me or included in the letter that might help me in searching for whatever it is these people were looking for?
So we're going to turn this into a dramatic sequence. For those of you watching that have never played 7th Sea, There are two types of sequences. There's either an action sequence or a dramatic sequence. With an action sequence, you roll every turn. And every round that you come up with a new approach to what you're doing, you get a bonus of 1 dice. With a dramatic sequence, there's only the one roll. You only get one roll to last you the entirety of the sequence itself, the scene. You always pick a trait and a skill to combine into your dice pool to roll against your to see what kind of raises you get for the risk involved. So Angel wants to investigate the situation. You're gonna look through your note as well, so I'm thinking that's gonna be a wits for sure. What do you think you would pair it with? Notice? Scholarship?
So notice seems like the obvious one, but because of the fact that I'm dealing with an academic, I really think that I want to go ahead and use scholarship.
Okay.
And maybe he hit a clue or something like that. So I have 3 in wits. I've got a 2 in scholarship, which gives me 5 dice. It's the first time I'm using scholarship this session, so I get the extra die for that.
Correct. So
do I get
put you at
any
6
extra,
dice?
do I get any extra dice for having known him or anything of that nature?
I'll give you 1 more for having known him.
All right.
Especially since you have history with him, actually, like in a dig site, and you've seen him how he takes his notes and whatnot. So that'll definitely confer a bonus for you. So for Junie, how is May approaching the situation?
Oh gosh. Well,
It's a new system, so don't worry about like being right or wrong.
oh no.
If you want to ask questions. Like, I would rather help break down the system so that you become a better understander of it, of what's happening.
While he's investigating,
Mhm.
she wants to take his tongue and do corpse tongue.
Okay.
'Cause she can ask the corpse, what the fuck?
You definitely can.
Mm-hmm.
One of the good things
How does this look?
that's one of the questions that I get to ask you guys whenever somebody does sorcery, because everybody handles it very differently. With corpse tongue, the stop, please. Roll 20.
Stop.
Page 208 if you're going to look in the book.
No, I can just hit the button. So with corpse tongue, the severed tongue of a corpse is soaked in nightshade and ground into paste, rubbed on the hex's tongue. Corpse tongue allows you to speak with a dead body, receiving messages from it about anything new in life. You can ask 2 questions for each point of resolve that you have. And the corpse must answer you honestly. After you ask your last question, you vomit, and the corpse you have been questioning crumbles into dust. You cannot question it further, even if you have an additional dose of corpse tongue.
Yep, that's why I'm going to try and cut out his tongue and let it soak so that she can make the paste, but she's not going to do that while he's freshly, oh my God, we have a dead body.
All right. To make corpse tongue, it will take you at least an hour, and you'll need like to use the kitchen at least.
She's got her handy dandy thing with the stuff and.
So like Angel is like searching through papers and stuff, and he hears meat slicing.
Yep. It is an unpleasant sound, but it is definitely not one you're unfamiliar with.
I have to take a moment. This was not what I expected from my morning.
What did you get on your dice?
I got. Do you want to know the raises or what I actually rolled?
Yeah. Let me know what raises you got, and if you have any left over. One of the cool things about the system is that if you have leftover dice, I can buy them from you, and what that means is I can. take any number of dice that you couldn't make any raises with and buy them off of you, which gives you a hero point, which you can use to power your different abilities that require hero points.
Right.
It
Where did we start
also
again, by the way? I forget.
1,
Okay.
unless you're Katie, who starts with 2.
So I got
I will warn you that every dice that I buy not only gives you a hero point, it gives me an adversity point that I can use for my bad guys. So
Mental
So-
note.
I got a 7, a 6, a 6, a 5, a 2, a 1, and a 1. So I did 7, 2, 1 for 1 raise.
okay,
Although actually, since you might buy dice, I'm gonna take that 5 and do 7, 2, 5 for 1 raise. Burn up all my high dice here. And then 6, 6 for the other one, which leaves you a 1 and a 1. Si lo
Yeah.
quieres.
I don't want them.
Okay.
I don't want those.
That's fine. I don't want you to want them anyway.
Uh,
But hold on.
so that gives you 2 raises.
Yeah. But before anything of interest happens with me, I have to
Sure. Yeah,
deal
no, of course. I would hope that you would want to stop what you're doing to have a moment with May, as she is, I guess, like 1 foot on the bed or on the body, one hand on the tongue, and the other hand kind of scooping up from underneath. Are you cutting from underneath?
What she'll do is have the knee on the bed, leaning over him just a bit, and it's just a flick of the wrist.
Just a flick of the wrist.
Just a flick of the wrist.
Senora, why are you defiling his body? He needs to be buried by the rules of the church. This is he was a good man. Does he owe you money?
She just sits there and kind of smirks and it seems amused.
Why did you cut off his tongue?
I'm gonna say that is loud enough to be heard downstairs.
Okay, no, I mean that's totally fair.
Yep.
So Angel didn't draw weapons or anything. At this point, he doesn't know she's a witch. But he is very concerned as to why this woman would cut off a man's tongue.
Fair.
She just waits for him to finish. Are you done?
He like
Yeah, no?
he takes a moment. He's like, "Okay, I am done." But
I imagine
After
that he
after
went through like a
spoken.
list of 6 or 7 things, offensive crimes that he might have done to lead to this.
Well, it's nice to know he.
as a chivalrous man, he automatically assumes that whatever that Ian must have done something to deserve this lovely lady cutting off his tongue.
Aw, he called me lovely.
Yeah.
Mein Herr, what's your name?
Ángel Aranda del Cuervo.
Angelando? I'm sorry. Your accent unfortunately does not let me understand what you said. So say once more slowly.
That's his name from now on, Angelando.
We will say just Ángel.
Your name is Angel. You're an angel.
No, Ángel, like an angel.
Oh, you mean Engel? E-N-G-L-E. Engel.
Yes. Okay.
Ist nein uns sprechen Sie Ansel, ja?
This is acceptable. I can be angel in your language or my language.
I will call you Engel because I don't really have that understanding, but it's okay. So, I take his tongue, I soak, I make a paste, I put on my tongue, and then I ask the dead body what happened. Yeah?
You're going to eat his tongue.
9. I have had tongue, but I've not had human tongue. It's very weird.
I mean, we eat cow tongue, but
Yeah,
Right,
but
so you are-
human, different, yeah.
do you eat people?
Oh, why would I want to eat people?
Why would you butcher a man?
Sorry, my thing kind of died, so I'm
Yeah.
grabbing my thing real fast.
That's fine.
Because you're talking and I'm going, yeah, sure, whatever. Whatever
Perfect.
whatever makes this easier for you to
Perfect
take
timing.
in, understand, and realize, I will be doing a thing. Let me flip my thing really
So,
over. So sorry.
Angel is.
Okay.
Let me know when you're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yay!
Angel is a churchman.
I love this.
He's highly religious.
Okay.
But at the same time, again, sorcery doesn't exist. That's been extinguished.
That he knows of.
Right, exactly.
Okay. I will give you one lesson very quickly, yeah? You good?
Yeah.
Okay. I am from Intel. We all know this. Yes, good. Now, long story short, which is entirely way too late because I've just started to tell you the story. It's very simple. My family come from line of soldiers. Okay, we're very strong. Not strong enough to beat the darkness that comes and overtakes over my land. You've heard of the monsters, yeah?
Fairy tales.
They're not fairy tales. I guarantee you this. I was only survivor. I learn different ways to fight darkness. I heal and I find out things to help the people that kill the darkness. You're good. Yeah. We call it good. G-O-T-T. I don't know how you say this in your language, but you know what I mean. He gives me the power and the strength and the resolve to do what I do to help human, to help us against the darkness. You understand? Yes, yeah?
You are a saint.
Sure. If you wish to call me a saint, then I will be a saint to you. But I try to fight the darkness and the monsters so that other people will not know the fate my family suffered from them. Do you understand?
I believe so. So he goes and he closes the door and bars it. And he says, whatever you need, senora. And he goes to continue searching. Because she said that the powers come from God, he's like, that's acceptable. God can do whatever he wants.
That's the way it works. Would any of the above that just happened have pulled Azuolas up from where they are right now?
So at this point, I think Azuolas is on their third of this brown liquid that now is pretty nice. It's pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
And yeah, like feeling a little different, a little bold, perhaps.
Yes.
And there's something about a tongue and slicing, and I'm kind of ready to be like, I don't know how I feel about tongues. Let's make sure that they stay put in the beings that they are. So I might go up those stairs.
Okay. As Angel is about to close the door, you see the person that was down there while all of this was happening and the interactions were happening, kind of lumbering up toward and like looking straight as possible in like the direction of the room, and there is a sloshing of liquid in the cup that they're carrying. It's not a lot. You can assume that the thought of the drink having been killed must have progressed along and just never got to the station. But you recognize him from downstairs, and there was a voice that came up as you were coming up to talk to Malcolm that warned you not to bring him downstairs.
Santa Senora, I'm going to leave you in the room, and I'm going to handle it to interrupt your studies.
You can call me May if you wish.
May.
You don't have to go through the whole. Please, it's so much easier. I have a very, shall we say, short life. It's best to just get it out than do formalities.
Understood.
Better?
Understood.
I call you Engel. You just call me May.
So since Azulas is coming up, instead of closing the door with him inside, he closes the door with him outside.
Okay.
And he says, "Hello."
Something to say to this Malcolm. He hurt me and deceived me and then sends me here on this journey for forever and he gives me this liquid that's nice actually, but I have words for him.
I would like to hear all your words.
Well,
please.
you're not Malcolm.
This is true. Would you believe that Malcolm is with the doctor?
With the doctor?
Yes.
In his room? Currently?
Yes, he cannot come to the door.
But you have been here and talking to him and talking about tongues. I heard
with the doctor. Who else would talk about tongues? This is such a crazy topic.
I don't know. I come here to this place and you are eating strange things, so I'm not sure. You eat the flesh of other beings?
As often as possible.
Yes. Despicable. I don't understand.
Have you ever met a pig? They
Yes.
are better off being eaten.
You are incorrect. You've never become friends with a pig.
This is true. The last time I met a pig, he tried to bite me. How about...
Like he can read your energy, and he knows that you are not a friend.
Barraco. They will kill you whether you're a friend or foe. How about you and I go downstairs and we wait for Malcolm to be done with the doctor?
Say to Malcolm right now.
Say to Malcolm?
Yes, I want to ask him why he would send me here. After all that he's done, the least he can do is meet me.
Maybe he wanted you to have an orange.
An orange?
Yes. This part of Spain, this part of Spain, this part of Castile is known for their oranges.
What is an orange other than a color?
Oh, I understand. Come, I show you.
All right.
Excellent.
So I go down to the bartender. I'm like, compadre, una naranja, por favor.
Like for a drink or like an entire orange?
Whatever in Castilian, whatever it needs to distract her from going upstairs.
Oh. Okay. Wait. And you see him pull out a little like a thick kind of softball of an orange and then a little quail egg of a satsuma. He goes, man, see if they can tell you what the difference is between these two, and he puts them on the bar.
He walks over. He says, and he walks over to Azulas and he says, "Since it seems that you do not want to eat the flesh of animals, you must get your nutrients through other things. If you do not want scurvy, orange. It is the best way to stop it." And I will take out, like my utensil knife, not my stabbing people knife.
Yeah.
Peel the orange and give her one of the wedges.
You see this strange looking orange fruit or vegetable. It almost looks like a tomato that has had its insides filled in and turned orange.
Man, to describe an orange to someone who's never seen one,
Yeah.
that's a task.
Yeah.
Has little pockets, little
little pockets. It looks veiny. It has
I
hair on the inside and the outside.
yes. How do I eat this?
Orange is
Take
strange when you really look at it, man.
I take one of the wedges and just like pop it in my mouth. And like boop.
The hair too? You eat the hair?
It's very sweet.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You're not poisoning me?
Otherwise, I would be poisoning myself as well.
I suppose. I take the piece I'm holding and I put it down and I take a different piece and I pick it up. And
Same
I will
spongy feel to it.
squeeze it a bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna smell it.
It bleeds an orange juice. It smells
Oh.
a little tart. It's got a little acid to it.
You're sure? This is not like those berries? The bad ones?
No. That's belladonna. That's entirely different.
I don't know. The smell is almost familiar. It's new, but there's something in it that's slightly familiar. All right, I will try. The juice gets everywhere.
Like a drunken person. And the second you bite down, it does just kind of shoot out like in a Kurosawa movie. Just orange juice in your mouth and outside your mouth. It's a sticky concoction, but it is incredibly sweet. Hints of tartness.
So this is why we put the whole thing in the mouth at once. It prevents juice.
Mm. You like the juice?
Yes. In some places, they drink the juice with sparkling wine. It's a brunch. It's a big thing.
Do they take out the hairs?
Some people do. It depends on the person.
Hmm.
In reality, the hairs is more nutritious, according to my doctor.
Oh, I see. Speaking of doctor, can I see Malcolm?
I have not heard that the doctor is done.
Oh, this doctor, he's taking a long time. Or them, she.
I have learned that it is best not to rush medicine. It's more of an art than a science.
Well, I really like this very much.
I'm very glad.
As well as you're biting into the orange and you're about to reach for the second slice, there's a moment where it's not your hand that reaches for the next slice. It's your associates. We never gave it a name, did we?
I was almost successful in distracting her. Or them.
Almost.
Does it feel like they are trying to stop me from eating the orange, or that they're trying to take it for themselves? What is the sensation that I get?
It almost feels like they want you to eat another one so they can taste it through you. Like the second your hand stops, like its hand stops. And the voice kind of tickles the back of your mind just on the outskirts of your ear canal. Go on. Another.
In my mind, I will say, I'll do this for you now, but you know what that means.
Small favors.
All favors.
All of it.
And I'll eat the orange.
There's a moment where Angel sees as well as stop, and there's that look of like an internal monologue is happening. And immediately, the moment the consensus is made mentally, the hand just comes up and snatches the entire orange and just puts it in its mouth.
Angel just realized that he's in the first 20 minutes of a Supernatural episode, and there's only two ways this goes. He either dies or becomes a hunter.
Start carrying salt, my friend. But given that you haven't used your raises from your investigation, would you like to use one now to notice something? Or do you want to hold on to them for...
No, Angel wants to know as little as possible of both these foreigners.
Fair. Fair.
Right now, the only reason he's accepting the that May is because she said God gave her powers, and he's like, fine. This, he just doesn't need it. He's a simple man with simple needs.
Okay. But by the time that you're done kind of babysitting, pulling the weekend at Bernie's, as well as starting to sober up, the oranges definitely helped. But the hour has passed. May has finished her ungut. You are left alone with the body, so you can ask it what you want, unfiltered by anybody else. Your resolve is 3. So you have 6 questions.
Yes.
It is so good that Angel is not in the room for the corpse talking.
For her, it's normal day of business.
Right?
I know.
So, what are your 6 questions, madam?
First one is what happened? How would it's more of what happened? How did you die? Kind of like one long question. First, because it's kind of a compounding question.
Yeah. You see the corpse kind of snapping. There's a jolt of the head. It goes up, comes down, it swings violently to one side, it comes back, and the eyes lock on you. I was killed. For what? And then it snaps down and forces its head back up at you.
What did you learn?
Hidden. The neck cracks as it pushes to one side and comes back.
What hidden bloodline?
The jaw unhinges, and then you hear that snap of the tendons as it locks back in. Vodace.
Verdace?
Vodace. It's one of the countries.
It's the not Italy.
It's the not Italy part of this show.
Yeah.
Right. We're currently in not Spain.
Yep.
Verdace is not Italy.
3 left.
I know. Shit.
Its head kind of starts to lull back down. You can just hear the teeth clattering as it's shutting its mouth. It feels like it's trying to find its tongue.
Yeah. Not there anymore, kid. The hidden bloodline. What about it? Details, please.
Sorcery. And you can hear that clack, clack, clack getting louder every time the brow starts to furrow almost into anger. The eyes, though, have no emotion behind them. It's a 1,000-mile stare.
Who is the target?
Don't know. Hidden. And its head starts to just like it's trying to push itself into a sitting position.
Malcolm, what are my next steps?
Look to the notes. And the body disintegrates, and you find yourself throwing up the breakfast
I didn't eat breakfast yet.
that you had the day before.
Oh, shit. God damn it. Damn it. He said don't look through the notes?
No, look to the notes.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Notes. Look to the notes.
Yep.
At this point, I think that Angel has distracted Azolas as much as he can.
Yeah, both of you hear the thudding of what you imagine is May, like just kind of catching herself before she falls to her knees. Just that the casting using an unguent is never a fun thing for a hexa. And so because you weren't there to see it, you're not privy to like the revulsion that it takes on the body. This came close, but as the hand kind of comes up to wipe the bile off of the lip, there's little splotches of blackness.
So when he hears her fall, all pretense of keeping Azolas distracted stop. He stands up, rapier and pistol in hand, and like kicks open her.
Okay.
And then
All right, so you guys go upstairs. How do they find May?
She probably made it to hopefully the trash can or something that like that by the desk. She probably did fall to the floor, heaved into the trash, and is now slowly trying to pick herself up to sit down to where the notes are to gather them.
Yeah. There are
She'll have her veil back down.
There are little splotches of black, but not enough to warrant being worried about corruption.
are you the doctor?
May,
What?
where is Malcolm?
Gone.
What? He was just here with the doctor. What do you mean gone?
She is a type of doctor. She is
Gone.
Hulk doctor. He's no longer with us.
Yes, what you call she recognizes this accent, correct?
Which one? The one that Azawalas is using?
Yes.
It's it's rough to pinpoint, but it's definitely Sarmatian. There's very heavy intonations of Sarmatian amongst it, but it's flavored with something.
You would say he's what's it, run down the curtains and join the bleeding choir of Vesubio?
But body.
It's no more.
They ask a good question.
It is no more.
There's dust in the shape of a body.
I like that May answers "It's no more" as if that totally explains whatever's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it's just not there anymore.
Yeah.
Of course, I had to cut his tongue out. How else do you ask the dead questions?
It's like my favorite thing about Spanish is that in English, someone has to take blame for something breaking. Like, he broke it, she broke it, they broke it. In Spanish, however, it is very easy and almost expected when something breaks. The answer is se rompió. It broke by itself. Nobody touched it. That's the kind of vibe that I'm getting by he's gone. He's no more.
So, seeing that she's safe, as near as Angel can tell,
Yeah.
the pistol gets put away, the rapier gets put away. In your examination, did you discover anything that may lead us to find out how he died? I do take his dagger and add it to my belt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoever killed him is going to get killed by their own dagger.
I like it.
It's known, yeah.
Have I ever seen anything like this, like the dust that I see in the shape of a body? Does it look familiar or like anything?
There's been stories in Sarmatia of the dead coming back to life, and once they're destroyed for good, they turn to dust and leave behind a body-shaped kind of pile of dust.
Okay. And stories of it just like the body coming back to life on its own or like unknown?
It is always something coming back from the dead.
Okay.
Please don't tell me that.
Please tell them that.
We're going to have to B.A. Baracus a lot of this.
His body was here. It's clear. Look at this residue.
And
Yeah, it's gone now.
It was here, and now it is gone.
It is gone.
Gone? What is this? And I take some and lift it up and it falls.
Have you ever heard of the philosophy of air is dust in the wind? He is now dust.
Wonderful.
I'm going to leave them to their philosophical / religious conversation and go look at the notes using my phrases.
Yeah, she's sitting right there with the notes, and she's kind of tapping on the notes and looking to Engel.
Yeah.
So he's gonna look through the notes with my raises.
Okay. There's you find that he was looking at 4 particular notices from different parts of the city, and just in his writing there's notes as to how something could be connected to something else. He talks about a Cerneth artifact in the area. He talks about assassins, and he writes down Castilian ? Montanian ? Vodachi ? Excuse me. He also writes down revolutionaries ? He does write Torres ? And then an arrow to your name with like an exclamation point. And then the 4 local stories that he's kind of underlined is there's a local baker's wife that was found with her body jammed into the working water wheel of a milling house on the western edge of the city. A Vendel League guild member was found lifeless in his rental home. The windows were closed and barred. There was no sign of forced entry. It is a mystery as to how he died. How she died, rather, sorry. There is another notice of a young woman who was set to marry to kind of strengthen the western border of Castille against Montaigne. And then there's a story of a older woman named Ingrid Josef Krovast of Eisen, who was found dead in an alley, her money purse missing, and a set of dice in her hand.
All right. So he's reading this. He's like putting the notes together, kind of like finding a portfolio
Mhm.
and getting them together and tying them up so that they can be carried. And he looks to the other two. May, you said that you were friends with Malcolm.
Yeah.
He looks to Azolas. You seem a kind enough person, wanting to save pigs and not liking when things suffer.
Yeah.
Our friend was killed, and for some reason, he was investigating mysteries here in town. It seems that you knew him, even if the friendship had soured. I think that it is the proper thing to do to return this dagger to whoever it was that killed him. And I feel it is my job to do so. But I would like your assistance.
To return the dagger to the killer?
Yes.
Kindly?
No.
Ah.
Love that question.
I mean,
Well-
you could put it kindly in one way.
Malcolm was not someone who I trusted. He betrayed my trust. But I do not think anyone deserves. I do not think the punishment for betrayal of trust should be murder. And for this,
Side
you-
note, Ankh totally does.
Noted.
for you, I would be willing to help because you showed me an orange. But know that this is nothing to do with Malcolm. I do not care of his fate.
Perfect.
At some point in the future, you will have to tell me how the professor betrayed you. He seemed like a man entirely too devoted to his books.
Was ist da orange?
I think that's Satsuma because we hadn't opened it up yet and and handed to its food.
A little
I
baby
know what the
orange.
I know what the orange is. I've used it in many a dish. We use it in sauces.
She did not.
You don't know about an oranges?
No.
I've not had an orange before.
But in all fairness, if someone showed me an orange for the first time, I would also be grateful.
Do you know
And-
what the tomato is?
Very familiar.
Okay.
So we have a
Glad to make
basis.
sure.
We have a basis now for vegetable and fruits.
Wait to be
And-
sure what a banana is.
Oh, easy, baby steps. But as all of you are coming together over the dusty corpse of this once friend, to some of you, once enemy, to another, I think this is a good point to call it for tonight. I want to
All right.
thank all of you guys for participating in this, for following me into my 7th C, 7th Chronicle on the channel. I hope you guys are having a good time. I want to thank the audience for joining us as well. Before we get into our outro stuff, let me give each of you a chance to plug whatever you're doing. Easy, I know that you said that 3B is out of commission.
It is currently, yep, it is currently, what do we call it, on a indeterminate hiatus.
Mm.
There's too much other stuff going on. But if you want to find out history stuff and martial arts training, I am on TikTok, and that's where I'm doing videos. On there, I am Mr. Ulfhammer.
Very nice.
On everywhere, I'm Mr. Ulfhammer, but on TikTok,
It'll be in the credits. They'll be able to find you. Junie, where can people find you? What are you up to?
Oh, 5'7" always. Unfortunately, that lengthening operation never took. I'm so sad. You can find me on, yeah, I know, right? You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter as Junie Von Esch. You can find me on Twitch as Junie Von Esch, as also on the RPG table where I storytell Vampire in the World of Darkness. I'm also a mod over at Cajun Knights, where I take over the werewolf sphere and help with other different splats as well.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah.
Katie, where can people find you? What are you up to?
You can find me on Instagram at katie.wiggins. And if you are in Los Angeles, you can see me if you're into the immersive theater scene. I'm always doing different stuff. Currently, I'm with the Immersive Arts Collective doing both a show called Dr. X, as well as Bite Surprise. And that currently is a show that you can book as a collective. It's not like you can just buy a ticket and go, but if you have like a corporate event, or you want to party or something and you want some cool, weird vampires to join you and give you dinner, and hopefully not have you be dinner, but maybe, you can check us out at the Immersive Arts Collective on Instagram, or just Google it. It's all
I am in the wrong city.
real.
But yeah, man, thank you guys for being a part of this. I now have a reason to look forward to every other Thursday. This show was supposed to be in conjunction with Dungeons and Dragons. It was one Thursday Dungeons, one Thursday 7th Sea. Because of the WotC bullshit that's happening, I've completely dropped Dungeons and Dragons. So as part of our thanks, I want to let you guys know that I am thankful for all of you. I wouldn't be here without you. And that is a nice segue into going into mental health. On the channel, we take mental health really seriously. If you're watching live, there's going to be some phone numbers going up in our Twitch chat. If you're watching on YouTube, it'll be in the description box. But mental health is part of our general health, and it shouldn't be kept behind a taboo or stigmatized subject matter. So just be aware that it is okay to not be okay, and that there are resources out there to help you should you have that need. If you're not in the United States, there's a link going up as well. That'll also be in the description box. But just be aware that we're going to have rough patches. We're going to have ups and downs. Finding out how to tell when you're in a down is a huge step in the right direction. And there are people out there who can help you to just kind of figure out if you're in a low, in a high, if you're coming up out of a low. There's so many stages to things. And I, for one, am thankful for everything that I've learned so far. But as always, you can find us here on Mondays for our Vampire the Masquerade stream, which is a dual storyline. One Monday is a Camarilla chapter, another Monday is an Anarch chapter, and they alternate. Tuesdays are for Legend of the Five Rings and for Werewolf the Wild West. They alternate on Tuesdays. And Thursdays you can catch us here for 7th Sea and whatever we'll be picking up. That would be in conjunction with it, which I hope also has a kind of piratey feel to it. And if it not, it doesn't, then it doesn't. But as always, thank you guys for being with us. I hope you are having a great day wherever you are, or a great evening. And please be safe, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you when we see you. Have a good night.